And we're live, folks. Welcome back to the Steve XM show. Ooh, let me get my big chat thing up here. Yeah, for those that are checking this out live, we got some chat over here. You guys can talk to me while I'm doing some Blender modeling. We're learning Blender live. That's the name of this show. So this is day number 4 of learning Blender live. Let me show off real quick here my first project that I worked on. So I'm using Grant Abbott's tutorials. Link in the description. He's got a bunch of free tutorials on YouTube, and take a look at this. This is from the first 3 episodes. I didn't finish it live. I did all like the lighting and the atmospheric effects after when I wasn't live. So yeah, it turned out pretty good. So that was from his first series, his first intro series that kind of teaches you how to use the UI, all the buttons, all that stuff. But on today's episode, we are going to be looking at the low poly well. That thing's pretty sweet there. Let's rewind this video a little bit, listen to Grant talk, and we'll start blendering here. I'm going to start a new file while he's talking here.
Welcome to Abbott Media, I'm Grant Abbott, and today we're going to be making this rather attractive medieval old-style well. It's one of those classic game objects that you often see. This is a beginner's tutorial, but I'm expecting some understanding of the interface, and hopefully you've had a look at my beginner's course, and this is a general continuation of that course. You can find out more about that on gabbett.co.uk, where all the courses are free and you can go right through from beginner to advanced levels. It is worth noting that this is not optimized for games, but you could use this in games if you wanted to. Throughout this course I'll be going through different modeling techniques, and I might be doing things slightly differently to how I might work, just for the sake of teaching and going through each technique stage by stage and not introducing too many things too early. So let's begin. I'll start with a new scene, and when you load up Blender you should see something similar to this. I'll start by creating the circular stones around the base of the well. I'm going to use the default cube this time. If we press tab to go into edit mode, or we can press on edit mode up here, and I want to be in edges, which is along here, or I can press 2 on my keyboard. So I've got all the edges selected at the moment, and if I press Ctrl B, I will bevel them, and I just move my mouse, which can be a bit glitchy, but if you move your mouse, you should start to see it move as well.
I'm Yavin Dragon. Welcome, welcome from Periscope.
Object like this. It's got that nice stylized look when it's beveled, and that just takes the sharpness off the edges. Let's go into front view now with 1 on my numpad, or you can use the axis up here, and I want to duplicate the sharpness off the edges. Let's go into front view now with 1 on my numpad, or you can use the axis up here, and I want to duplicate this, and I'm actually going to duplicate it in edit mode. So I'm still in edit mode, Shift D to duplicate, and then I've got a duplicate. What I've forgotten to do though is change this to face mode, so I'll undo that. It's also worth noting that my shortcut keys will be displayed down here. So this time let's go to face mode.
Looks cool so far, yeah.
Or I can click up here and make sure you've selected all with A. Double tapping A will deselect all, A select all.
Yeah, we're going to be making that well on the bottom of the screen there.
And let's constrain it to the X-axis by pressing X. Somewhere around there looks good. I'm going to go to wireframe now. I can go up here, or I can press Z on my keyboard and go to wireframe.
Oh, is it Z?
Okay. Select those end faces. So that's just left clicking and dragging. Now I can press G then X and grab and slide them out. So there's 2 Blender units here and 3 on this one. I'm also going to Control R and loop cut down the middle here. So Control R, click once and you can move it around, or you can just right click to cancel that movement to leave it in the middle. You can also use the loop cut tool over here. So I've got 2 bricks and one is 1.5 times the other. I want to create one more different type of brick. So let's go to front view again. Oh, that's interesting, I've got the reverse view. If you ever want to reverse your view, press Control 1 or Control 3 and it gives you the other side. This would normally be front view and I was on the other side, so Control and the number on your numpad. So I'll press Control 1 to go to front view again, so it looks the same. It doesn't matter which direction you're going in. Now I've got 2 objects, but they are still one object. What I mean by that, if I press L on this object for linked, it selects everything that's linked to that, but it's not completely joined to this one. So the vertices aren't merged together. Even if they were overlapped like this, I can double tap A to deselect all and press L over this one and it still only selects
I can unlink mine though, I think.
So you can select separate objects in edit mode, even though they are part of the same object. I'll just quickly undo that.
Split.
And let's duplicate this one, Shift D and drag it along the X. So Shift D, X and drag it to about there. Box select those end faces. I've only got edges at the moment. It should work with edges as well, but I'd rather use faces. Grab and pull that along and constrain it to the x-axis, so now it's twice the size of the original. I want one more loop cut down here, and I'm going to even these loop cuts out. Alt left click on that and double G to slide it across. Now you can see that's fairly even now. The reason I want these loop cuts in here is so when I bend them round, they'll have more topology to bend with. I'll explain that a bit more later. Let's go to front view again. This time I'll go the other way. Select them all, Shift D to duplicate, X to constrain to the x-axis, and pull them across. And I'll do them all together once more. Shift D, X to there. So we've got our long line. Now we need to add a modifier to all this in order to bend it round into a circle. Now it's worth pointing out that my pivot point is in the middle there, and that's a fine place for the pivot point to be, but it's important that we think about where it is. So let's go to object mode with tab.
Oh, I did something wrong.
Go to solid mode so I can see it better. And I want to go to the modifiers over here where the spanner or the wrench is. Add modifier, and this is a simple deform. So a new
Why is it doing that? My command for pause play is not working. Let's test this out. Let's see.
Simple deform, and you can.
Might have to add a delay in there. I'm using voice attack for all my scene controls and stuff like that. Alright, so let's get back to the front view here. We screwed something up. I didn't notice it because we weren't in 3D. So let's just Control Z a bunch of this. I'm going to go back to nice little view here. We'll go to front view. So I was supposed to go to wireframe. And I was supposed to grab, I think, the surfaces there. So let's, well, first let's Shift D and duplicate this whole thing. Oh, I gotta put my shortcuts on. My shortcuts are on. Oh, no, they are. Where are they? Oh, they're down here now, bottom left of the screen. You guys can see what buttons I'm hitting to do all this fantastic stuff. Grab. Oh, no, it's Shift duplicate.
Okay.
Oh, no. Do that, okay. Shift D, constrain to the X. Then we will grab just the end there. We'll grab, move it in the X. And then we're going to add a loop cut. Control R, and boom. Let's make sure this was in 3D this time. Okay, we're good. Then he just duplicated it 3 times, so we'll Shift D, X. And I think one more. Did he do 4? Let's see. Yeah, that's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 total, okay. Shift D, X. And let's continue the video here a little bit further.
But it's important that we think about where it is. So let's go to object mode with tab. I'm going to go to solid mode so I can see it better. And I want to go to the modifiers over here where the spanner or the wrench is. Add modifier, and this is a simple deform. So a new one, simple deform, and you can see that it creates this twist.
Why does this look see-through like this? Is that because, okay, that was on. All right, so he's adding a modifier. I haven't done this yet. Is he in object mode? Yeah, he's in object mode. So you click on this in object mode. Hang on, kitty. And there's modifiers down here. Add modifier. What did he do? Simple deform. Where's that? This is new. I haven't done this yet. Oh, deform. Simple deform. Okay. And look at that. Put a little twist on it. That's pretty cool. Twist is the default there. Let's play his video and see what he says to do.
Twist, because it's on the twist selection. If I change this to bend now, you can see it bends a bit strangely because it's going on the x-axis, which is this red one down here. I want it to bend around the z-axis, which is up and down, which you can see up here as well. So let's change the axis to z. And you can see it's starting to go in the direction we want it to go. Also notice that it's going around this pivot point here. So let's change the angle. If I click and drag, I can slide it up, but I know it's going to be 360 degrees, so I can type that in. And it goes all the way around to the beginning. And you can see it just joining up there. And that's great. And also, if I go into edit mode, you can see that these loop cuts we made are helping it to bend around into a circle. If I didn't make those loop cuts, these blocks would all be straight and it wouldn't work so well. Back to Object Mode tab, and I'm going to apply the modifier. You could make a copy of it.
We got some weird geometry going on here. I don't know what this is about. Let's take a look. Let's go into edit mode. Whoa. Oh, it shows it to me like that. We screwed something up somewhere. So that's in the longest block. There's some kind of issue happening here. I don't see it from the wireframe. It looks like it's fine. Something to do with the bevel and the twist. I don't know. Anyways.
If you ever wanted to go back and change this, but I know I'm not going to. But it's worth noting when you press apply, you are setting that modifier and you can't go back and try and change things with it. So I'll press apply. Let's go to front view now, and let's duplicate this, Shift D, and bring it up in the Z axis. Then I'll scale it down to somewhere around there. And now we can see.
Well, we got an advertisement. I think I knew what I did wrong, so I'm going to try to fix that real quick. Skip ads. I didn't think the loop cut went all the way through. Let's undo some stuff. Yeah, look at that. That's what it was. So this loop cut didn't go on the top surface. That's why that part was bending, but the other part wasn't. Creating lots of issues there. So take that loop cut out. Let's go edit mode, Control R for a loop cut. And I don't know why it's not placing it in the whole thing, but yes, that's going to be an issue. So let's grab in the Z or X. Let's Control R to loop cut. Why is it only adding it there? Interesting. Well, I haven't seen that yet. Why is it doing that? Oh, that's why. Alright, we gotta grab this in wireframe. That way it grabs the ones behind it. X. Or, grab X. That's a little bit long. Grab X. Alright, this should work now. Control R, loop cut. It's still doing the weird thing where it's... Maybe we need to be in faces mode. Yeah, you can see it kind of wants to do a full loop cut, but then it doesn't. I wonder if we can do it like this, if that's going to screw things up. I don't know if that's going to be connected now. We can check to see if there's vertices there that aren't connected. So what we can do is I can select these vertices and I can right click and do merge vertices by distance. And let's see. Oh, I don't want to do that. Yeah, that should be fine. I think we're good now. Okay. Anyways. Shift. Let's make sure we're in face mode. Shift duplicate X.
No worries. That's what I'm here for.
Shift duplicate X. Oh, it's good to do it a second time, I guess. Go back to object mode. We'll add the modifier for the simple deform. And we'll do it around the Z-axis. Whoa. Bend. Around the Z-axis. The angle of 360. Okay. Now we should be golden. Solid view. Let's get rid of the wireframe. Okay. This looks better.
Problems. Because my pivot point is here, it's scaling around that pivot point. If I press S, it scales around that pivot point. I'll cancel that with right click. So actually I want the pivot point to be right in the center. And there's an easy way to do that. I'm going to undo those steps. So I'm back to where I started, and I'm going to go to Object, Set Origin, Origin to Geometry. And can you see it jump into the middle there? If I press N on my keyboard now and go to Item, you can also see that the location is slightly away from the center. I think
Object, set origin, origin to geometry, geometry to origin. What did he do?
So I'm back to where I started, and I'm going to go to Object, set origin, origin to geometry, and can you see it jump into the middle there? If I press N on my keyboard now and go to item,
I don't know if that worked.
you can also see that the location is slightly away from the center. I think it would be helpful to have it right in the center.
Definitely didn't work.
Change all these to 0. You can click and drag across all of them and type in 0 and it will move it back into position. Now let's go to front view. Shift D to duplicate, Z on the keyboard to constrain it to the Z axis, somewhere around there. Scale it down with S, and then I can grab in the Z axis again.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's not working what he's saying. I don't know why. Yeah, you think the center of mass would be somewhere in here. In the center, not over there. So, object, set origin. Well, there's another way we could fudge this. I could just move this to the center. It's not ideal, but this will work. Grab Y. So that's pretty close to the center. And then we can just set origin to 3D cursor. Whoa. Why did it scale that? That's weird. Yeah, I screwed something up somewhere, I don't know. I don't think that's going to matter too much though, because I think we should be able to still scale this. I think. Grab Z. No. Shift D. Z. Yeah, when we go to scale it, it's going to scale funny. But that just means we just got to place it differently. We just got to grab it and just move it over like that. That should be fine.
Move it into position, but it's in line with my other one. So I want to rotate around the Z axis, R then Z, and then I can have more of a brick type look. Let's just look around quickly because you don't really have these lining up with each other. I'll rotate around the Z axis again a bit more. There we go, that's a bit better. One into front view, Shift D to duplicate in the Z axis, so Z on the keyboard, move that up and rotate it around the Z axis. And just having a look around to see whether it's lining up. We don't want any of them lining up like that, so I'll keep rotating it until they're not lining up. There we go. And then I'll duplicate the bottom one, so I'll go to front view again with 1 on my numpad, Shift D to duplicate and move that up in the Z axis, and just rotate that slightly in the Z, checking that it doesn't overlap anywhere. That's great. Oh, and I forgot to make that one bigger, so to front view again, scale, and just scale it up slightly, so it's not quite as big as the bottom one, somewhere around there. Grab in the Z axis, and there is the base of my well. Now I'm overlapping my light and camera. I'm going to quickly select both the light and the camera and press M. That moves them to a new collection, and I can create a new collection here. I'm going to call that camera and light, and press OK. Then I can easily hide them up here in my out.
Alright, let's take a look here. I gotta go from the bottom view now because I'm not centered properly, which is kind of annoying. But this should work. I'm gonna bring this over this way a little bit. Grab X. Let's go that way a little bit. I mean, this looks decent. Let's rotate this one around. The Z bit. Go to the top view. Grab X.
No problem.
Grab Y. Simon. Yeah, this looks pretty good.
Outliner, so I can hide them from my view. They are still there and having an influence, so they will be rendered, but this just hides it from a viewport. So at the moment I've got 4 objects in my collection. I'm actually going to make a new collection out of these as well, so select all of them, press M, new collection, and call it well. Now the next thing I want to do is make these non-uniform. So at the moment they're very rigid and it doesn't really have any character. Now there's a couple of ways I can do that. I could actually join them all together and go into sculpt mode and start moving the vertices around a bit, and I quite like doing that, but I think a better way for beginners is to understand proportional editing. So with all of them selected, I can go into edit mode with tab, and the new version of Blender means that I can edit multiple objects at the same time, as long as I have, which is ticked by default, lock object modes. So let's go into vertex mode, and if I select one vertices, let's say, turn on my proportional editing at the top here, that means when I press G now, it's got this circle of influence. So if I make that really big, edit mode with tab, and the new version of Blender means that I can edit multiple objects at the same time, as long as I have, which is ticked by default, lock object modes. So let's go into vertex mode, and if I select one vertices, let's say, turn on my proportional editing at the top here, that means when I press G now, it's got this circle of influence. So if I make that really big for the moment, you can see the sorts of things it does. So anything connected to this object is being influenced by my movement. I'll cancel that with right click, and I'll press G to grab, and if I use my wheel now, I can change the influence. So let's move certain vertices around and just start pulling things in and out in different directions and give it some variation.
Oh, I see what he's doing, okay. So just going around giving it a bit more of a realistic look. Now I wonder why that circle goes away. I don't know what that circle's for. Why does that go away? See how he does it.
Remember to use your keyboard shortcuts for this, so G to grab. I'm just left clicking and pressing G to grab and moving them around. O is the shortcut to turn on and off proportional editing, so the shortcut is O, and you might just want to move one vertex here and there as well.
I don't get the difference
Also,
though.
what might help you is to changing your view to a matcap view, and then you can really see what the shape is going to look like, and you might want to go back into object mode and just have a look around and see whether you're happy with it. So the matcap mode, if that was a bit quick, is up here under the down arrow, and you've got matcaps there. Lots of different ones to choose from, and some will help you see your shading a little better.
Matcap mode, eh? I don't know if I got that.
So there we go, I've gone back into object mode and clicked away from my object so I can see.
Alright, let's do those couple of steps real quick. Matcap, no custom matcaps configured. We can install that. Let's see what that does. Oh, I think it's something you got to come up with on your own. Install Custom Light Studio. Alright, anyways, we'll mess around with our well here for a little bit. So all that we're gonna do. Oh, let's grab it all. We're just going around and we're just grabbing some edges, kind of make it look a little bit more realistic, I guess. A little bit more varied. So this is a process that could take a little bit of time, but it'll make it look good. That might be a little bit much there. Yep. Yeah, Blender is very technical, but at the same time, there's a lot of like artistic stuff that you can do too. So definitely need a little bit of an art background if you want to do stuff that's a bit more abstract, you know. If you only got a technical background, you can still make some pretty cool stuff, I'm sure, like some cool looking robots and but there's a lot of fine detail to some of the stuff that I've seen online where you can actually do painting of pieces that you're modeling. So a lot of that stuff is going to take an artistic person to do. Now this could take a while. So we could just kind of leave the well bare bones if we want. Without too much variation, but this is starting to look pretty good, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, we'll do some more. I'm going to try to do 2 rows at a time to get some done here. I'm just going to go randomly grabbing some around. Yeah, that'll give a nice effect. I can see why he wants us to use that tool now, because it grabs so many different things at once. Yeah, we can start grabbing some of this stuff. I don't know if I want to mess with the bottom too much, but... A nice little hole there, that's kind of cool. Alright, we won't do too much more of this. We'll kind of wrap this portion up. And we'll just kind of spin it around. We'll see what areas look boring. Spruce them up a bit with this grabbing tool here. Yep. Yeah, I got some big plans for Blender coming up. You guys, if you've seen my channel at all recently, I've gotten custom rooms that I've made in like GIMP and that, you know, Photoshop, whatever, that for my green screen. So it actually looks like I'm in a virtual room. But that's all done in 2D, and I did it in a perspective view to kind of simulate looking like it's 3D. So it's like, you know, it makes it look like I'm in a fake 3D space. But what's nice about Blender now that I know how to use it, I'll be able to make my own custom rooms that I can place myself into, and it'll give the show a little bit extra flair, a little extra pizzazz. You know, whatever can make it better for the viewer. Plus, it's fun. I mean, I could make my room look like whatever I want. I could put little paintings on the walls, that kind of stuff. All right, so this looks really good, I think. Let's turn off this mode here so we could see our texture a little better. I wish we had that mode that he's got here. Let's rewind this a bit. I want to see what that was. Because his looks...
under the down arrow. And you can really see what the shape is going to look like. And you might want to go back into object mode. So G to grab. I'm just left clicking and pressing G to grab.
Oh, I see.
And moving them around. O is the shortcut to turn on and off proportional editing, so the shortcut is O, and you might just want to move one vertex.
Yeah, this looks really good
there as well.
Some of these look a bit rough. I went a little bit too crazy with these ones.
Changing your view to a matcap view, and then you can really see what the shape is going to look like, and you might want to go back into object mode and just have a look around and see whether you're happy with it. So the matcap mode, if that was a bit quick, is up here under the down arrow. And you've got matcaps there. Lots of different ones to choose from, and some will help you see your shading a little better.
I like this. Now, we didn't really mess with the inside at all. I wonder if he did.
So there we go. I've gone back into object mode.
Not going to see the inside as much, so I'm not too worried about it.
And I think that's looking fine. So your first task is to get to this point. Once you've got to that point, I'm going to show you how I made the wooden frame, and you can kind of do that for homework. And then I'll go through the roof tiles and other bits and pieces in the next episode. But if I press Shift and right click, that will change my 3D cursor to this point, and I can add the supports. So Shift A, Mesh Cube. Let's go to side view with 3 and move that into position. And then front view. Actually, I moved it into the wrong position. So front view, off to the side there, side view, into the middle. That makes more sense. Now there's a couple of things I want to point out here. If I scale it now, so scale in the Z-axis, and make a supporting beam, a bit further with the Z-axis, and scale it in, so if I press S then Shift Z, it will only scale in the X and Y axis. And let's move that up. Now can you see my scale is non-uniform, it's not all one. So when I go into edit mode, and I go to the edges, or I can press 2 on my keyboard, and press Ctrl B, the bevel looks all strange, and that's because it doesn't understand the scale of the object. Let's undo that. A better way is to just scale in edit mode, or if you've already scaled in object mode, let's go quickly back to object mode with tab, I can press Ctrl A and I can set my scale or apply my scale. So when I press this, look what happens over here in the scale. So Ctrl A, scale, it all returns to 1. Now when I go to edit mode, press Ctrl B with my edges selected, I can see that they're all working in a uniform manner. The other thing that's worth pointing out, when I do the bevel for the wood, I don't bevel nearly as much as I did with the stone. You could in fact keep your wood with sharp edges. I just prefer a bit of a bevel. I think it gives it a better look. But if you do bevel the wood, then you only need a slight amount. So your homework task therefore is to try and recreate what I've done with the frame of my well, which you should be able to see in the corner here. And here's just the base on its own to help you out. So, hello and welcome to
Whoa.
Gather Media Actor. Now there's a couple of...
Alright, we can do that. Let's build that thing. Let's take a look at his reference here. I like this reference image. And we can actually bring up our own well reference images that might be useful here. So let's do well reference image. Oh, I guess we don't need to type in reference image, but well image. A lot of different wells. Kind of like this one. We make that full screen. History of water wells. Ooh, we could learn about water wells today. You guys are gonna get schooled. All right, can we just make this full screen? Open a new tab. That's what I want. Where's that? View image. Sure. Not the highest quality image there, but that'll work. Okay. So I'm gonna actually close that out on my screen here. So the height is, I'm using my finger lengths here. It's kind of quite a little over double the size of the well. So I might want to scale this down a little bit. I'm going to scale this all. Let's go into face mode. 3. I'm going to scale this all on the Z. Oh. What did I do? Oh. Go back to solid mode. I'm in face mode. I gotta go to wireframe though, I think, to grab them all. Well, I can just do select A. I can hit A to select all. So let's scale, but only in the Z. And let's grab it, move it back down in the Z. Let's scale it up a little bit more in the Z. Alright, that's gonna be good. Alright, so that's our base for our wood. I'm going to do some nice little effects here, if I can. We're going to do a loop cut somewhere around here. Control R. Do a loop cut down here. Let's also do a loop cut going the long way. And let's move it over a little bit. I'm going to use this for my, I'm going to put like a little notch in the wood here. Trying to think of how that's going to look. Do I need another one to do that? Maybe. Let's see. Maybe. Control Z, Control R. All right. So how do we put a notch in there? I've seen him do it on some of his other videos. Grab vertices maybe. Go to vertices. Grab. Oh, we gotta turn that off. Let's turn that off. Wish that would snap to that. Yeah, that's not a notch. I won't mess with the notch because I don't really know how to do it yet. I wonder if I can scale out the bottom at least. Let me try selecting all these faces on the bottom, see if we can scale it at least, make it look a little bit more presentable. And that should have just grabbed the bottom ones. No, we don't want those. I guess it wouldn't have mattered, but I'm gonna see what happens when I try scaling those. So we'll scale that. I'm gonna scale it. No, get out of there. And everything but the Z. Yeah, that kind of worked, but that loop cut's in my way now. That loop cut screwed everything up. Whatever, we can give a bit more base on the bottom. That's kind of cool, actually. That looks fine. All right, I should have duplicated that though before I did that. Damn it. All right, anyways. Shift D to duplicate. Just move it over here. We are going to rotate this about the x-axis. We'll go 45. Then I'm going to scale this puppy down. But I don't want to scale it down. I only want to scale it in the Z. So I can hit... Ooh. I gotta select it all now. It's a separate thing. Let's go to side view. Scale. Z only. Nope. Ah, you son of a... Alright, I'll shift D the object. That's what I'm gonna do, not in edit mode. Shift D X. Make sure I don't have two there, okay. This will work better. Let's just scale it down now. Scale it in the Z. And we'll rotate about the X 45. Grab it. Let's go to the side view. Grab Y. Grab Z. Looks pretty good. And then we'll move it in. That should be pretty good there. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. So I should be able to shift D that. Let's try rotating about the Z 180. Yeah, that worked. And then we just need to grab it in the Y. Now there's going to be some overlapping geometry here, which might give us some issues. Definitely doesn't look good. Let's see what it looks like in this mode. Alright, so it looks a little bit better in that mode, but I don't really like that too much. Just like a smooth tool, I think we could probably smooth that out. It's alright, this is more of a basic thing here. Alright, I don't like that well image. Let's take a look at his. So he went over. Oh, he's putting little things on the bottom too.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. Alright, let's shift duplicate this guy. Scale it in Z, we'll make it tiny. Grab Y. Grab Z. And we actually are going to scale this one down in all the dimensions a little bit. Just make a little piece, smaller piece of wood. Scale it back up in the Z a little bit here. This is like a support thing. Now, I do like what he's doing with his... Oh, he must be grabbing vertices, I bet. Let's try that. Let's go into edit mode on this piece. I bet if we grab vertices... Yeah, we can make things look like that, okay. And I can maybe even use this feature again, yeah. Just to make it look like an actual piece of wood that's not really perfect. Okay. Rotate about the Y. Nope, X. Do a nice 45. Rotate Z 180. Oops. Is that right? Rotate Z. Z. No. Good. Alright, this is coming along pretty good. Now, it doesn't have to go all the way in. Could give it a nice effect though. If we wanted to, we could go into edit mode. We could grab all these vertices, go into wireframe to make sure I get them all. We could grab those and move those in the Y to give it like that effect, like it's going up against the wood there. So that way when we place it, it looks a little bit more like it's supposed to go there. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's duplicate that one. Shift D. Move it over in the Y. Rotate around the Z 180. Then we'll go back into edit mode on this one. We'll kind of fix this one up a little bit more. Grab. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Now for that, we'll just duplicate this whole thing. This looks good. So let's get this view here where I can duplicate it easily. Shift D, X, rotate around the Z 180 just to kind of flip it around. All right, this is looking pretty good. Now he's got that cool cylinder going through there. Let's put a cylinder on there. Oh, he's got a lot of detail going on up there too. Got the big one going up top. So let's get that one going. I probably should fix these up a bit too though. Should have did that before I duplicated it. Let's make this one look a bit more realistic. So we're gonna go into edit mode. We're gonna use our grab tool. Give this stuff a bit more of a wood look here. Yeah, this is really handy for making things look quite realistic. Now those loop cuts I put in there earlier are kind of making things look a little weird, but I gotta put this on pause for a second, guys. I'll be right back. I don't have a be right back screen yet, do I? Yeah, I'll be right back. And we're back. Yeah, my dogs are misbehaving for the wife out there. Bunch of bad boys. So I'm gonna wrap this up shortly here. We'll finish this segment here. We'll do the shingles on the next episode. Okay. Let's grab some of the stuff on the bottom too. Yeah, it's a good thing I did this before I duplicated. Actually, I'm kind of happy about those loop cuts in there. Gives me a bit more variation in this. Because now I can grab like these middle ones. I can really mess them up. All right, that looks like a piece of wood now. Now this is going to be issues here, these vertices. Do not like those. I don't really know how to fix them, to be honest, because I'm pretty new at this, so I'm just going to grab them and try to position them in a way that they're not going to be seen too much. At the same time, that's changing the shape of the wood to make it kind of hopefully look a bit more realistic. Alright, this looks good. Screw this side up a little bit more. And boom. That's what I'm talking about. Looks like a beauty. Okay. Object mode. Grab all of these. Shift D, X. Rotate about the Z 180. And I'm going to steal one of these big planks here. We're going to Shift D one of those suckers, move it up in the Z. We're going to rotate it about the Y 90. I'm going to use that for the top. Let's get that in place. Grab X, boom. And I got a view of the top there. Alright, we'll do this view. Grab Z. Boom. And now he made his big. I kind of like that. I'm going to copy that. So let's get our edit tool here. Let's get our grabber. Boom. Boom. He's got some extra loop cuts in there, sure. Can do that and give it a little bit of a bowing effect. I think that's kind of what he was going for. Not too much. Not too much there. Piece of wood's gonna be all jacked up. I want to put a split in one of these pieces of wood, but I don't know how to do it. I don't remember how he did it. I'm trying to think. Anyways, let's take a look at that. Look pretty good. Kind of want to scale it in the everything dimension. Let's try that. Scale that puppy up. Oh, scale it in everything but the X. So I can do Shift X. And I can just kind of make it fatter. The big top there. We can probably grab it in the Z and kind of just shimmy it up there a little bit. All right, this looks pretty freaking good. Last thing is to, oh, look at, yeah, he did his different. Guess it doesn't matter. All right, let's grab another one of these, Shift-D. Doesn't matter, rotate about the Y90. Get a top view going here. Grab it.
Anything for you.
What's up, Simon? Scale it and everything but the X. Just a little bit. Oh, you know what he did there? Look at that. Let's go for that similar effect. How the heck is my shingles gonna look? We need that arc effect. So I guess one option. Well, it doesn't really matter. Could make these ones a bit smaller somehow. Let's try scaling these all in their own Z dimensions. Yeah, that should work. That should work. Okay, good. That way it'll give it a bit more of an angle there for the shingles and that. Ah. Ooh, rendered. What are we doing? Look dev. Oh, I got out of this. I like this mode. Grab Z. Could even rotate it if we wanted to, kind of like make it look realistic, but he went in the middle, which we could do. We could scale this in the X. Should be in a different view though to do that better. Grab it in the X a little bit. Actually, the top view might be good for that. Let's grab it in the Y a tad. Scale X. So it's touching. Take a look. I'll bring it down to Z a little bit. And that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now let's go into edit mode, because I can make this look a bit more realistic over here by grabbing these ones, pulling these off of that. Just a little bit, so it's not so much intersecting material there. A little bit's going to be fine. And then up here we got a little bit of room to move this around a little bit. Similarly, probably over here. Yeah, that's good. I like it. So our shingles can come down that way. Hopefully. Definitely looks different. That's fine though. Alright, let's grab the sucker. Shift D to duplicate. Move it over in the Y. Take a look at the top view, see how that looks. Looks good from here. Looks good from there. Maybe we will rotate it 180. Some variation. Y, no. Z. Rotate. Rotate about the Z 180. Then grab it in the X to kind of shim it back over there. Again, we'll go into edit mode. Grab some vertices. Shimmy those over. And this looks pretty good. We'll put a little bit more variation in this one. Grab it in the Z. Yep. Again, this one over here actually looks kind of plain as well. We'll put another loop cut over here. Control R. We'll loop cut down here. We'll grab this stuff in the Z. Pull it down. Too much makes it look kind of fake. But that's pretty cool. I don't like this bottom here. I want to fix this. I want to do a loop cut here. And I want to grab these. Move them up. Maybe only grab one side a little bit more. Okay. Boom. Alright, so I think we're pretty much there with our well. I don't know. He added cylinder in the middle. We can add that real quick. So that's going right about here. Shift a cylinder. We want 16 vertices. We don't want it to be too detailed. Maybe even less. Let's go 8. Yeah, that should be good. All right, let's rotate it about the Y 90. Good. Scale that sucker. We want that to look right, so let's scale it down a bit more. I really like what he did with his. Let's move it up a little bit. Grab Z. Scale it down a tad more. But only in the Z. All right, our rope's gonna wrap around that. All right, now what we can do here is we can extrude this face. We'll go into edit mode. Grab the face. I guess that's one way to do it. Grab the face, extrude that sucker in the X. Boom. Let's add a loop cut over here. Add another loop cut over here. And then we will modify some stuff. So you know what would have been easier maybe? I wonder if I can scale all these. If I scale them all on the X, what happens? Nothing. If I scale them all on the Y, maybe if I do it about its own Y? I'm trying to make that shrink. That actually looks kind of cool. I want to do this differently. I want to extrude. Extrude in the X. But then I want to scale the face. Extrude X. Scale the face. That's what I was trying to do in post. Not quite sure how to do that, so. Extrude. I definitely don't like how that one looks there. That's a little weird. We can get our grab tool and clean this stuff up. Let's go to vertices mode. Grab some junk. Pull it around, twist it around. This needs to be pretty straight though. And this thing actually has a function. There's gonna be some rope wrapped around it. Alright, so I got everything to the side. Yeah, this looks really weird over here. Be able to fix that though. Oh, don't rotate. That's just too wide over there. I can see it from this view pretty good though. Move all these over. Alright, we did it. Let's get a quick snapshot of this. I think this is pretty good for now. Might add a couple other things in a minute, but let's just finish this up, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send all this to my well collection, so we can turn it on and off as we want. Let's add a plane. No, let's put our origin back at the center with Shift C. Let's add a plane, scale it up nice and big. Scale it some more. And some more. Bring our well back. We'll grab it all and move it up in the Z. And we'll get a look from the side view here so we can get it close to the ground. Grab Z. That's pretty good. I want to get a nice picture of this. So obviously there's no real texture yet to that. Kind of just that. I can still get a render of that. Let's change this color to this. Shading. New material. Let's just make this darker. Contrast in there. And get a good angle. View lock camera, boom, boom. We'll get a nice picture of our well. Something's clipping there, it's weird. Why is it doing that? Huh. Oh, that's weird. What rendering mode? We're in Eevee. Cycles Eevee. Huh, I've never seen that effect before. Is that because it's like a... Why is it doing that? I don't know. Let's try another angle. Yeah, that's weird. Anywho. That'll be fun. Render image. Bada bing, bada boom. Guess that's what it looks like. Let's at least give this some textures real quick. Let's at least color them the appropriate colors. So I'll go into shading. I'm going to select all the wood objects. I don't like what that's doing. What the... Object mode. Selecting all my wood objects. We're going to give them all, just for now, this is temporary, just to give it at least a little bit of look. We're going to add a new material called wood. And we're going to color it brown. I don't really know how to find a brown, to be honest. Oh, there we go. Go down to materials. We'll hit, should be an apply over here. Usually there's an apply button. Where'd my material go? Let's add one. Let's add the wood. Should be able to do that to all of them. Add wood. Why is it not coloring them wood? Piece of junk. New material. Wood. Do I really gotta do that one by one? Well, if I have to. Alright, this is gonna make the render look better, so we're just gonna do this. Usually you mean you can select all these at once. I don't know why it's being a pain. Guess I should add the material in the beginning, then we'll just copy it all over. Material wood. Material add wood. I got like 2 more. I'm gonna turn the shine off of that. Go back into our wood material here in 1 second. And we will get rid of, we'll turn the roughness up quite a bit. Now, hopefully when we do these bricks, we can do them all the same. So let's make a new material. Call this brick. Just gonna go with a simple gray. And done. Now I should be able to add all those. Material, brick. I don't know why it wants to be a pain. You know? But doing it one by one, whatever. And again, roughness. I don't know why that one's being a pain. It won't switch. Edit mode. What do you want me to do? And select all faces. It's fine. I should be able to assign the material. Material brick assign. Oh, maybe that's what I should did. Okay, let's turn the plane back on. Scale the plane up even more. And we will make it very rough. Change the color to maybe just a green, whatever. It's like shitty looking grass. And there we go. Let's scale this up a lot so I don't see anything else. Boom. Why is it doing that? I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe there's something in the view mode. It's like cutting off some of my view. Clip start, clip end, use local camera, lock camera to view. Never seen that before. Straight down, we're fine. I don't get it. Local camera, view lock. Never seen this before. Man, I wanted to get a good render image of this. Oh. What the hell? What's going on? Is that like a glitch? Let me file, save as. Let me save this to the desktop as well. Try reopening it real quick. Feel like that's a glitch. All right, Blender's closed. Boom. Open up well. Still doing that clip thing. Oh, you know what? I wonder if my camera's off. We add a new camera? What the hell is going on? Delete the camera. I just want to render that image there. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's add a sunlight. Where the heck is my other light? Let's grab this out of here. Let's increase the intensity of the sunlight. And let's find out why we can't. We add a camera, Shift A. Camera. Grab it. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this. Being a jerk. Usually you can switch to your camera here too. I don't see that option anymore. Anywho, you guys get the idea. Looks pretty good. Good start, I think. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm not in that mode. That's why. There we go. And this is how we end it. I'll work on a better render. This is not going to be good enough. There's your rendered image. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Let's get a little bit better angle. Zoom in more. Render image. And I can use this for the thumbnail for my thing. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. All right, cool. Image, save as well.png. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in.
You are welcome.
Thanks for those that stopped by. We had I Am Gavin Dragon join us from Periscope there for a little bit. Thanks to you for checking out the channel. And I will catch you guys on the next episode of the Steve XM Show, where we're going to be doing some more Blender. We're going to be playing some co-op games, playing some Witcher, and then we're jumping back into VR pretty soon too. We got some VR games lined up, so stay tuned, folks, and get ready for some cool stuff. All right, peace, y'all. Ooh, I got an outro. Do the outro. Hey, Simon, hit that button.
Howdy.
Oh, no. Hey, Simon.
Hello.
Wake up.
Oh, that was a good rest. Time for work now.
Hit that outro button.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We're wrapping up the show.